Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. I'd like to welcome you to the long-awaited, long-anticipated, and long in the works, because it takes a huge amount of work to put these things together, sale video. So here's how this is going to work. I am going to have a bunch of games. I'm going to walk you through their conditions. I'm going to explain what the asking price is on them. I believe the asking prices here are more than fair. Some of them are friend games. In fact, all of these games are games by friends. There's actually nothing of mine at all in this particular sale video. In some cases, the friend has set a price, so I may or may not be able to negotiate the prices, but I feel like the prices that are being asked for in every case here are quite fair. So this is the first of a planned 4-video series of sale videos. This one is the July 2021 edition. There will be an August, September, and October if everything goes according to plan. There's some stuff that is not in my possession yet that I will be selling for other friends. And we'll talk about that later on the Monday streams. If you would like to put in an offer on any of these items, please email me at the email address that is appearing on your screen right now and will continue to appear on your screen throughout the video. This is the only means by which I will accept offers on items. If you DM me on Twitter or Facebook or whatever, I will tell you to email me, because last time I was open through several channels to take offers and some things got messed up. Unfortunately, nobody actually got mischarged, but embarrassing mistakes were made, and I do not wish to repeat that experience. Thank you very much. There will be a pinned comment in the comments below that will contain those items that are already gone. Shipping costs will be on the buyer. I will attempt to get as close as I can to actual shipping costs, and I am shipping through pirate ship. In most cases, it depends on where it's going, right? If it's going to California, it's actually going to cost more through pirate ship than it will be flat rate, so I'll go with flat rate. I will ship internationally. However, I will advise you ahead of time that the costs for international shipping are likely to be ruinous unless you buy a large quantity of stuff, and then maybe it is worth your time. It is a really good idea to send me your zip code and or shipping address along with your offer. The dibs on the items are first come, first served. I will reserve your dibs until the end of the dibbing period. The video will stay up forever, but the stuff is very likely to evaporate very quickly, so bear that in mind. So please get your email in as soon as possible, and then at the end of the premiere, we will send out the emails with the totals. So let's get started. The first thing we have that's punched is a copy of Panzergruppe Guderian. Now, this originally appeared in S&T, but I'm not sure that this particular copy came out of S&T. It may have been extracted from the magazine. It is punched and very tightly clipped and appears to be complete, and we only want $10. This is, of course, a classic and hugely influential design. People still play this today. I have literally seen people playing this at a convention in the last 2 years. Next up is Strategy and Tactics issue number 67, featuring the game Stonewall. This is a very early entry in the Great Battles of the American Civil War series. Again, it is punched and fairly aggressively corner clipped. And it appears to be complete, and the magazine is in pretty nice shape as well. We would like $15 for this punched copy of Stonewall. Next up is October War. This is S&T issue number 61. Again, it is punched and very tightly clipped. In fact, you may think that the counters are, in fact, not clipped, but they are. They're just extremely conservatively corner rounded. But magazine appears to be in good shape. Game appears to be complete. It is punched. This is, of course, a relatively early Mark Herman effort. He served as developer on this game. We would like $20 for this punched copy of October War. Next is perhaps the worst cover ever to appear on Strategy and Tactics magazine. This is, I had to actually look this up. It is impossible to read the cover. This is S&T issue number 55, featuring the game Breitenfeld. Again, we are punched and very conservatively clipped. Game appears to be complete. The magazine is in quite nice shape, considering its age especially. We would like $10 for this copy of Breitenfeld punched. Next up is S&T issue number 63, featuring the game Veracruz, the U.S. invasion of Mexico. This is punched and fairly aggressively corner clipped. Again, magazine's in pretty good shape. No major problems that I can tell. A game appears to be complete. We would like $10 for this punched copy of Veracruz. We have here issue 4 of Game Fix magazine. This is from 1995, and it does contain a complete game included, apparently called Bombs Away, and it looks like it is a card game, which actually looks somewhat fun and interesting. You do have to cut the magazine apart to access the cards. I have not been given a price on this, so I'm going to say we would like $5 for Game Fix magazine number 4. So we have 4 issues of Vivictus magazine. We're going to start with issue number 13. All 4 of these we need $10 a piece for. We have issue number 13, 25, 19, and 31. They all contain games, all of which are unpunched, but they are bound into the centers of the magazine. So if you want these to be mounted, you'd have to mount them yourself. The games appear to be more or less full size. So the game in issue number 13 is Arnhem 1944. The map actually looks fairly nice on this. Now, I will point out that the magazine is in French, and I am not able to find English translations of rules for any of these 4. Mostly the later issues of Vivictus, you can get English versions of the rules, but I have not found those for these 4. We also have Muse 1940 for our Francophone friends and audience. Again, unpunched. It's all in the magazine and the same type of deal. It's on like a heavy cardstock that's bound in the center of the magazine. We have issue number 25. 1943 Kharkov, again, magazines in French, $10, not able to find English rules. Doesn't mean you can't, but I was not able to find them. And the game here in Vivictus number 31 is On Point Toujours, Normandy 1944. And this looks like a game system of some kind that appears to be kind of tactical. And again, unpunched, it's all in the magazine. Magazine's in French. $10. Pretty good price. These are probably reasonably hard to find. They are in very nice condition. There is some spine wear in all cases, as you would always find on a magazine this old. Now on to some boxed games. The first boxed game I have is a copy of Pacific War from Victory Games and designer Mark Herman. This is a 1985 release, and it is considered a classic. It is in the big 3-inch box. There is some box wear here. It looks like some knucklehead put some tape on there, but it's actually not that obvious. There's a little bit of tackiness from the tape on this one. However, when we look inside, we see that A, it includes a big pile of Pacific War errata. Let me open this all up here, because there's a lot of stuff in this box, as you know if you own a copy of Pacific War. So there's a huge pile of errata. We've got the pads, we've got the screens, the other pads, we've got the rule book, we've got the scenario book, we have both maps, looks like they've never been unfolded, and we have a full set of counters unpunched, and I do not see, at a glance, any particular registration issues or anything like that, which is something that Victory Games was known for. Even looking at the backs look really good. So, the box is not pristine, but it's also got all 8 corners completely intact, and the box is not in terrible shape. And the innards are in pristine, like new condition. It also includes the errata, which I assume you can find on the internet nowadays. It also includes a Victory Games customer response card and an Avalon Hill catalog. I should do a video on one of those at some point, trying to this all back in the box without mauling anything, because it's in fabulous shape and I don't want to wreck it. So we would like $55 for this really nice copy of Pacific War from 1985. It is unpunched. I think it's worth that. There is a new edition coming out from GMT, but for those of you who want the original, whether it's for play value or collectability, I think this is a good buy at $55. So $55 for unpunched Pacific War. Next up, from the gamers, we have a copy of Bloody 110. It is number 1 because the next sale wave will have another copy of Bloody 110. This one, we will find, is punched, unclipped, includes a gamer's customer thank you note, actually, signed by Dean, which is neat. Contains all of the guts and a unpunched blank counter sheet, and whatever these are, blanks. And a big stack of, so we have the game rules, these are the game-specific rules, we have the TCS rules, and we have a huge pile of op sheets, and looks like an updated copies of the rules as well. So there's a lot of stuff in here. The extra photocopies and stuff you can get online doesn't really add to the value, but it is a pretty nice copy of Bloody 110. The box has a bit of scuffing, but all 8 corners are intact and it looks pretty nice. We would like $30 for Bloody 110. Of course, this is the game that started the Tactical Combat series in the first place. So, a lot of heritage in this game. Again, $30 for Bloody 110, number 1. Next up, from Victory Games, this is something you don't see every day. This is a copy of Hell's Highway. This is a Joe Balkowski design. It's about Operation Market Garden. It is a very well-regarded game, and it is in the original shrink wrap. Now, the shrink wrap itself is a bit beat up, but, you know, it's like 30-some years old, so it's not particularly surprising. There is a little bit of a ding here, but otherwise, you know, it's a shrink-wrapped copy of Hell's Highway. Obviously, I'm not going to open it and show you. It is in really, really nice shape. We would like $55 for this shrink-wrapped copy of Hell's Highway, which I think is an extremely reasonable price. Next up is from GMT and designer John Prados. We have Crisis Sinai 1973. This is unpunched. It's got wads of baggies in it. These, I think, when I first went through this, I think these had rubber bands around them, and those rubber bands had fossilized, so I disposed of them. You don't need them anyway. The baggies themselves are included. Crisis Sinai 1973, it is unpunched. There's a little bit of box dishing up here. There's a bit of minor corner wear, but all 8 corners are otherwise intact. And it is in nice shape for those who are in the market for a copy of Crisis Sinai 1973. We have it at the very reasonable price of $30. Next up, from the gamers, we have the original OCS Tunisia, Game 3 in the OCS series. It's, again, marked number 1 because there's another copy coming in a future wave of sales. This is unpunched. Of course, this is, you know, there is a Tunisia 2 floating around as well, but for those who would like to complete their OCS collections, we have Tunisia 1 unpunched. Very minor box dishing. Fairly minor box dishing, not anything serious. There's a bit of corner wear. All 8 corners are, however, intact, and we would like $25 for it, which I do consider a pretty good price. Next up, and I think this is the last thing from the gamers that we have for the moment. This is Objective Schmidt, second game in the Tactical Combat series. This is designed by Dave Powell from a series designed by Dean Essig, and we have in here, it is a bit yellowed with age, but it is unpunched and the innards are in fabulous shape. Second edition series rules here. And we would like $32 for this copy of Objective Schmidt. Box condition is, there's some corner wear. This corner is not blown. None of the corners are blown, actually. But there's some corner wear. This has been on a shelf for a while. It got pushed around. Box is in good shape. Quite nice condition copy of Objective Schmidt. $32 is the asking price for this. Next up is a quite early GMT game. This is Lost Victory, Manstein at Kharkov, Winter 1943. This is, so I've talked to some people that really like this game. It is a very nice looking game, very reminiscent in appearance of the GMT East Front series, I think, anyway. Although the map style is a bit different, but the counters very much resemble those. Very interesting looking game and fairly well regarded. It is unpunched. The box has some quite minor wear, but no noticeable dishing. All 8 corners are intact. We would like $45 from Lost Victory from designer David James Ritchie and GMT Games. This was a 1994 release. Now, I make a note that that was a 1994 release because the next game that we have is a very old GMT game. This is from 1990, and I want to say this is one of the very early GMT games that they did. This is Airbridge to Victory. This is a game about Operation Market Garden. It is not a huge game. It's like a map and a half, and it's got a small counter sheet. Very early GMT stock. You can tell from the counters, but the counters look nice to me. Comes with some baggies and a 10-sided die. It is unpunched. The box has some minor shelfware and some very minor dishing on the top cover. I believe this is a Gene Billingsley design. It is. We would like $25 for this copy of Air Bridge to Victory. Next up is our lone offering from Avalanche Press. This is the game Sopak. This is part of the Second World War at Sea series, which I have not played, but I know does have some very diehard fans, and it is an interesting looking game. The box is in quite nice shape. There is some scuffing along the bottom, because this has been pushed around on a shelf, but it has never left that shelf. The innards are totally unpunched and pristine. And we will notice that, I don't know about, there's even a little flyer, like an Avalanche Press flyer in here. I didn't notice this, which includes their role-playing line. Origins registration form from Origins 2002. Anyway, what I was opening this up for is to show you, A, the unpunched counters, which are quite nice, and B, the mounted map boards, which is a thing that doesn't appear in these games anymore. So there's that, like, campaign map, and then there is what I will call, I don't know if the game calls it this, a battle board on which you play out the battles. That's this thing. And again, these are mounted, and quite nicely mounted, too, actually. I always liked Avalanche Press's mounted boards. They don't make those anymore. And I could be nuts about this, but it looks like there is a huge stack of additional log sheets that are photocopied from the originals. We would like $50 for this unpunched and very nice condition copy of Sopak from Avalanche Press. Okay, next up is a quite, I think, fairly rare piece. This is the game Aachen from People's Wargames. This was Jack Rady's company. They did mostly, and are remembered mostly for East Front games. But this is a West Front game, Siegfried Line, September to October 1944. So the box here shows some noticeable dishing. It's not serious, and it looks like somebody taped the edges. And I don't know if that's because there's an edge split repair happening here. That's what's going on. Nevertheless, it's in a flat box. These flat boxes from any publisher tend to wear very poorly, especially as old as this is. I don't know what year this was released off the top of my head, and I don't see a date on the box. It is inside, however, unpunched and in very nice condition. We have two adorable tiny D20s. I think these are the D20s numbered 1 to 10 twice, though, because I think this is a percentile game. We have a rule book, which looks like it's been leafed through, but that's about it. We have a large and not, shall we say, up to modern graphical standards map, but it's an interesting map in that there's a lot of cities on here, and I wonder how that affects gameplay. And then there's what I'll call a counter sheet and a half, but is in fact the equivalent of 3 counter sheets. Even includes pollard markers. These are these rotary counters that you use to keep track of various things, usually steps. They are called pollard markers. I call them rotary markers. I think this is the earliest game in which I have seen those. The counter sheets are in this plastic bag, and I am not going to take them out. And then there's an errata sheet in the bottom. So I don't really think this is a very common piece. We would like $25 for this copy of Aachen from People's Wargames. Very interesting piece, again, from an interesting publisher that did some interesting and very well-remembered stuff. This is a West Front game. That wasn't their typical forte, so that may be why you don't hear too much about this. But we want $25 for this copy of Aachen. Next up is our next game from Avalanche Press that I had forgotten about. This is Alamein. This is a big box game in a box that is in very nice condition with very minor boxware. All the corners are intact. There's a lot of stuff in here. So we have, and it's all unpunched. This was never touched. We have some booklets. We have a big stack of pretty nice looking Avalanche Press counter sheets. We have a couple of big maps. This is, of course, what it sounds like, History's Turning Point 1942. We would like $40 for this thing from Avalanche Press. Box is in pretty good shape. There's some very minor dishing on the top, but there's no like crunching anywhere. There's some wear on the corners, but there's no tears or anything. All 8 corners are intact. Of course, these flat boxes are more likely to have blown corners than non-flat boxes. So we would like $40 for this copy of Alamein. Okay, so we now begin a long series of S&T magazines, all of which are unpunched and in very good to brand new condition, and they are all in the 220 plus range in numerical order. The first one we have is S&T number 228, featuring the game The Old Contemptibles. This is a game about Mons 1914. And we would like $18 for Old Contemptibles. Next up is the game Khan, included in S&T issue number 229. This is also unpunched and in fantastic condition. We would like $27. Interesting topic that is not often covered. Next, we have S&T issue number 230, featuring the game Downfall. This is a game about the U.S. invasion of Japan, and I checked, and it is a two-player game. We would like $14 for S&T number 230 with Downfall. Next is S&T issue number 232. Now, this is one of a bunch of issues that they did in this period where the stuff on the cover has nothing to do with the game inside. The game featured here is Catherine the Great. It is an area movement game about Catherine the Great. We would like $13 for S&T issue number 232 with the game unpunched and in fabulous condition. Next up is S&T issue number 233, featuring the game Dagger Thrusts, Patton and Montgomery, September 1944. I haven't looked closely at this, but it sounds very interesting because, of course, that is when Operation Market Garden happened, and, of course, when Eisenhower gave priority to Montgomery's plan for Market Garden over Patton's intentions. So it looks like this is interesting. We do have a little bit of scuffing here on the cover, but nothing. Again, magazine's in fabulous shape. Everything's together. Game is unpunched. We would like $14 for S&T number 233. Next up is S&T issue number 234. The game is Lest Darkness Fall. It is unpunched, and it is a hex-based game about the crisis of the 3rd century, as far as I can tell. Very interesting looking game. We would like $13 for S&T number 234 with the game unpunched. Next up is S&T issue number 237. The game is No Prisoners, and it is actually about the campaigns of Lawrence of Arabia. It is, again, unpunched. Magazine is in great shape. We would like $14 for S&T number 237. Next up is S&T number 238. The game is Marlborough and the War of the Spanish Succession. Again, unpunched. Magazine's in great condition. Game looks reasonably interesting. We would like $16 for Marlborough and S&T number 238. Next up is S&T number 239. The game is Winged Horse, Vietnam 1965. This is another interesting looking, operational looking game. We would like $27. The game is unpunched. It is an interesting looking piece on a not frequently covered topic. So again, $27 for S&T number 239 and the game Winged Horse unpunched. We do have a wee bit of cover wear. I suspect this is where some magazines stuck together a little bit, but it's not serious, and there's no sign of actual damage. It's just a weird piece of staining or something like that right here. In any case, $27 I think is a very reasonable price. Next up is S&T number 241, featuring the game Twilight of the Ottomans. This is World War I in the Middle East. It is a hex and counter game. It is unpunched. The magazine is otherwise in fantastic condition. We would like $20 for S&T number 241 with the game Ottoman Twilight, or Twilight of the Ottomans. It's actually Twilight of the Ottomans. They said Ottoman Twilight on the cover. Next up is S&T issue number 242, featuring sort of a double pack. Two operational-looking games, one featuring Pershing pursuing Pancho Villa, and the other one is Mad Anthony. This is, again, unpunched. It is a hex game. We would like $12 for S&T number 242 in fantastic condition. A little bit of tearaway right here on the cover. Otherwise, like I said, almost all of these are in really, really good shape, and I'll make sure these things get packed in a secure way when they are shipped. Next up is another Vietnam game. Interesting looking game too, actually. Sea Lords on the Mekong Delta. This goes for, well, it's going to sell for $22 here. It's S&T number 243. Again, as usual, the game is unpunched. The magazine is in fantastic condition. I have bought magazines off the newsstand in worse shape than that. Next up is S&T number 244, featuring the game Drive on Moscow. And it says special double-sized game included. And I can verify that there are, in fact, two counter sheets. It is a hex and counter game. There are 2 maps too. There are in fact 2 maps too. So that is literally a double-sized game. We would like $19 for S&T number 244. Magazine's in great shape. Game is unpunched. $19. Next up is S&T Magazine number 245 with the game Triple Alliance War. Again, it is unpunched. It is a hex and counter game. We would like $14 for S&T Magazine number 245 with the magazine in great shape and the game unpunched. Next up is S&T Magazine number 247. The game is Holy Roman Empire. This is an area movement. Actually, it's not area movement, it's squares. I said that from memory. But nevertheless, it's an interesting topic that is not frequently covered. This is, of course, covered by the very famous game Here I Stand. It'd be interesting to take a look at an alternate view of that topic. S&T number 247, we would like $15. Magazine's in great shape. Game is unpunched. Next up is S&T number 248. The game is First Blood, Second Marn. This is a hex and counter game. It is unpunched, and the magazine is in fantastic condition. We would like $13 for S&T number 248, First Blood, Second Marn. Next up is S&T Magazine number 249, featuring the game Egyptian Campaign. This is, of course, about Napoleon's campaign in Egypt, which is a campaign of Napoleon that isn't often covered. So be very curious to take a look at this one. We would like $13. The game is unpunched. The magazine is in great shape. Next up is the anniversary issue, number 250. The game is Red Dragon Rising, and this appears to be a game about China, communist China invading Taiwan. And it is not a larger than usual game. It's the usual size, but it is unpunched. It is area movement, and it is a reasonably well-regarded game. $27 is what we're asking. Magazine has some very light wear on it, but is in great shape. The game is unpunched, and again, $27 for S&T number 250. Now, this is the one that we thought would actually evaluate the highest, and that turns out not to be the case. This is S&T number 251. The game is Cobra 1944. This is a redo of the classic SPI Cobra, which was later redone by TSR. TSR added an extra map to it, and this is does include that extra map. So this does not only include the game of the Breakout that was the original Cobra, but it includes a whole extra map so you could play out the invasions as well. This has probably gone down in value since Decision released a boxed version of it, but sometimes there's differences between the box versions and the magazine versions, and I know that this magazine version is well regarded, and the game looks good. Again, S&T issue number 251. The game is Cobra. The game is unpunched. It is double-sized, 2 counter sheets, 2 maps. Magazine is in quite nice shape. We would like $35 for this issue of S&T. Next up is S&T number 252. The game is Civil War in the Far West. It is unpunched and includes a neat subscriber notice. It is a hex and counter game. We would like $14 for S&T number 252. Game is unpunched. Magazine is in great shape. Next up and last in the S&Ts for this sale video is S&T number 254, Hannibal's War. This is, of course, a game about the Second Punic War, and it has got a square grid map, and is nevertheless kind of interesting looking. We would like $16 for Hannibal's War. Magazine is in great shape. Game is unpunched. There will be additional strategy and tactics magazines in the next sale video, which I hope to get out sometime in August. Folks, I'd like to thank you very much for sitting through this video, which has been a huge amount of work to put together. I will mention that another wave of sales will be happening, according to plan anyway, in August of 2021, hopefully sometime around the first week of August. In the meantime, thanks very much again for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you'd like to support the channel, there's links and stuff in the video description, so check that out. And again, check the pinned comment to see what has already sold as of the time of my last updating the pinned comment. Until next time, happy wargaming.